Onyinye was devastated. It took the help of Onyeka and his soothing words to keep her calm. She didn't want to call Amobi's mother because she might have a heart attack if she heard her grandson was kidnapped. She knew how deep her love was for Ike. Onye's brain was spinning like a wheel. She had never done anything wrong to anyone since she came to Q City. Immediately, a thought came to her mind. She and Onyeka left for Ikechukwu's school. She asked for Ikechukwu's teacher and told her to give her few details about the looks of the man that took Ike. The teacher told her everything she remembered. Onyinye then opened one of her social media accounts and showed her Amobi's picture, and the teacher agreed that it was Amobi that took Ike. Onyinye's eyes were blazing like dark coals with fire in them. At that moment, she wanted to strangle Amobi. Amobi was with Ike at Q City. Ike was scared because he did not know the strange man. He was crying that he wanted his mommy, but Amobi told him that his mommy was coming soon and that they would live together as a family because he was his father. He told Ike that he loved him, that his mommy had refused to give him a chance to come into their lives. He painted a beautiful picture full of lies to Ike. Ike was so happy that he would live together with his parents and even have siblings too. Before Amobi's plans to take Ike away from Onyinye, he called his fiancée Chinelo, whom he was supposed to marry, and told her that their engagement was off. Chinelo wanted explanations, but Amobi was not ready to give any. Amobi gave Ike different toys and other things that children liked. He then sat with a smirk on his face.
You will find your way back to me, Onyinye. You belong to me and no one else.
It has been 2 days already, and no one knows the whereabouts of Amobi and Ikechukwu. Amobi intentionally switched off his phone. He wanted Onyinye to be so desperate that she would do anything he told her to do. Onyinye was tempted to tell Amobi's mother, but she would never forgive herself if something happened to her because of the news. Whenever Amobi's mother called and asked for her grandson, Onyinye would say that he was asleep or he had gone to stay at Onyeka's place for a sleepover. It was weird, but she believed Onyinye. On one of their calls, Onyinye had asked her about Amobi's whereabouts, but she said she had no idea. Onyinye did the maths and knew Amobi had not been in the village and had not gone there in a while. And she wouldn't want to involve the police because of Amobi's mother. All this while, she kept trying to call Amobi, but he was unreachable. It's been 1 week, and all through that week, Onyinye had not eaten or slept well. She always cried at night, and because of that, Onyeka came and stayed at her house until everything was settled. Onyinye's mother watched her child sad for many days. She had been calm all this while because her daughter had promised that she could handle anything. But the sight of her so weak made her heart bleed. Onyeka hated to see her so helpless. He wished he could see Amobi and give him a punch on the face for giving her pain. He knew how Onyinye was in the past. She was scared to allow any man into her life, all because one man she trusted gave her nothing but pain. He hugged her, hoping she would feel better from his love and care. On the morning of the 8th day, Amobi switched on his phone to see calls from different numbers. He then saw text messages from Onyinye. He laughed. Who is vulnerable now? It's you, Onyinye. Then he laughed loudly. He saw her messages from angry ones to the ones ordering him to bring back her child. She's smart, she figured out so soon. Smart woman, he said to himself. Then he saw the ones she wrote on the 3rd day, pleading with him to return her child. She promised to do anything he wanted. She just wanted her child back. Now you are talking, Onyinye. He sent her a message telling her to come to the address that he sent, which Onyinye replied almost immediately. This surprised him. She was actually waiting for his messages. Now he had her wrapped around his fingers. When Onyinye received his message, she immediately texted him back that she would be there. Onyeka insists on going with her, but she assured him that she would be fine and that she would prefer to settle this alone with Amobi. Onye took a bath and got dressed. Onyeka assured her that he loved her and he was there whenever she needed him. Onye felt the sincerity from his words. They kissed and she left the house. When she got to the address, she saw Amobi open the gate, letting her in. Then he locked the gate.
How dare you? How dare you take away my child from me?
Amobi laughed out loud like a maniac.
I promised myself that I will have you, and now you are here.
He walked inside the house with Onye looking at his back. He has gone crazy. After a few seconds of standing outside, she followed him inside the house. Amobi called Ike and he came running. When he saw his mother, he ran into her arms with a joyful laugh. Ike, Mommy had missed you so much. Didn't you miss Mommy? She asked. Ike then told her that he missed her too. Onye then told Ike that it was time to go back home, but Ike told her that she wanted them to stay together as a family because his father had told him that Mommy was coming and that they would stay together. As he said this, Onye turned and glared at Amobi.
Really, Amobi? What have you been feeding my child with? You told him that you were his father? This just tells me how horrible you are. You will never change. I gave you my love, but what did you give me? A swollen tummy, and left me to suffer. My biggest regret in life is getting entangled with you, you horrible monster. I'm taking my child with me, and we are living here right now.
Leave the boy alone. He has chosen. Deal with it. If he wanted to go with you, I would have allowed it. But now he has chosen me. It's either you stay or leave.
Amobi said, smiling. Onye felt her heart twist into knots. She couldn't bear leaving her son there, so she decided to stay. She did not know how long she would have to stay to convince Ike that it was best for them to leave. Ike would never understand what she meant until he grew older. Ike had always wanted a father figure in his life until Onyeka. And now Amobi has succeeded in filling his head with beautiful lies. Amobi took her phone to stop her from calling anyone. He provided her with food and other luxuries. But Onye was not happy. 4 years ago, she would have been happy if he had done all this, but now she felt nothing but disgust. Amobi came to her one night and told her that he still dreamt of a life with her, that even though she felt nothing for him now, that she would still develop those feelings of love in due time. He told her that he was ready to wait for her. 2 days went by and nothing happened, and all those days Amobi walked around with the keys to prevent her from leaving. On the third night, Onye stayed awake. Suddenly, she started crying out loud, which attracted Amobi. He came running towards her room. He asked her what was happening and she said that she was having a very painful cramp, that she usually gets it when she was about to have her monthly cycle. Amobi asked her if he could do anything to help her. She told him to go and buy her a certain medicine called woman tea, that it would help her to relax, and he should also buy her some sanitary pad. Without thinking, Amobi hurried, left the house and went out to find what Onye had requested for. Onye knew he would take some time out because there was nothing like woman tea. She went to Amobi's room and found some spare keys in the drawer. She quickly prayed a silent prayer and went to carry Ike. And luckily for her, the gate opened. After she was out, she locked it and hurriedly went down the street. She didn't have her phone with her, but she had some money in her bag. She was able to walk down the road without being spotted. All the while, her heart was beating 10 times faster than normal. She saw a cabman and told him to take her to the nearest hotel, and he did. She paid and entered the room, and then she locked her door. She took a deep breath to calm herself. Ike was back in bed and he was sleeping again. Onye then thought of how she could reach Onyeka. She went out and begged the receptionist to lend her her phone, which she did. She called Onyeka and told him that she was safe in a hotel and that she would call him the next day. Onyeka insisted that he could come pick her up, but she told him that it wasn't safe, that Amobi would be looking for her at that time. Onyeka begged her to be safe. Onye thanked the young woman and returned back to her room to sleep. She slept peacefully with her son beside her. She had one of the best nights in over a week. When Amobi got back, he searched the whole house for Onye, but she wasn't there. He shouted due to how angry he was. He got into the car and drove towards the street looking for her, but there was no sign of her. He went to make a police report that his mad wife had taken his son and left to stay with her lover, that they should bring her into custody, that it wasn't safe for her to roam around the street since she was mad. The policemen organized a search party. The next morning, Onye called Onyeka, who came to pick her from the hotel. They hugged and greeted each other. As they were on their way back, Onye told Onyeka to take them to his house since Amobi didn't know where he was staying, and Onyeka agreed without a second thought. Ike had been asking about his father, and Onye told him that his father had traveled and would be back soon. Few minutes before reaching Onyeka's house, they were stopped and took Onye since Amobi already showed them her picture. They requested her to go to the mental hospital, that her husband had reported her missing. Onye was lost at words. She wanted to resist, but Onyeka told her not to. She was taken to the hospital, tested, and she was confirmed okay. Onyeka even attested that he was her husband-to-be and that Onye was very okay. On getting to Onyeka's house, Onye called Amobi's mother and explained everything to her. She was so sorry on Amobi's behalf, and she promised to come see her as soon as possible. Onyeka planned to take Onye somewhere nice, having seen everything she had been through in the last weeks. Within a day, everything was arranged and they left. They stayed for a week and had the most amazing time ever. During that time, Onyeka and Onye bonded beautifully, and he proposed to her. She felt so content with him. Amobi returned to the village, and his mother could not stop herself from telling him how disappointed she felt because of his actions.
You gave her nothing but pain, but she endured it all, even though she was so young. And now that you were supposed to make amends, you turn around and do something worse. You never wanted her. And now when someone shows interest in her, you come out of nowhere and profess your love to her. I am so ashamed of who you have become.
Amobi's mother said, leaving him to think about his actions. What is going on with me? He knelt down and cried like a child. Then he called his fiancée. Chinelo, please, I need you now. Please come. Chinelo asked for his address and she came not long after. She hugged him and after he was calm, he explained everything to her. Chinelo was surprised. All this while he never told her anything. She promised to be by his side always. Amobi decided to go for therapy, and Chinelo encouraged him to apologize to Onyinye, which he did and promised her never to pull such stunt again. And after that, he had a healthy relationship with Ike. A week after, Ebere, Amobi's sister, came back to the village. Her family was so happy to have her back after 5 long years. She demanded to see Onye and was surprised of what she heard. After 1 week, the friends met and Ebere apologized for not being there for her. As Onye's marriage was coming up, she proposed that Ebere become her bridesmaid and she agreed. She soon met her nephew and she fell in love with him. Soon it was Onye and Onyeka's marriage and they were joined together in a peaceful harmony. Amobi was still learning to be a better man with Chinelo by his side. This story emphasizes on the struggle that single mothers face on a daily basis. Onye was lucky that Amobi's mother stepped in and helped her. If you're a single mother out there, I hope and I pray that a man as good and nice as Onyeka meets you and take away your fear. This story teaches us about the harmfulness of obsession. Amobi was so obsessed with Onye, thereby making him do things that were not of his character. Thank you for watching and